Mwangkanhnghi. You can call me Nico. I will now introduce you to the sacred art of muesli making. For muesli making begins first with the act of cleansing. You will see there are things to wash up, and you will need exactly this. We call it a pot and a spoon. They need to be cleansed for the ritual of making the muesli. Once we have cleansed them, we see them here. Now we need fruit. So the spirit of muesli making is to connect your body and your soul to the food. For example, we have here an apple. This is a green apple, one of the greenest apples that grow on trees. And we got oranges, freed from the nets, not the internet. I will now point out a few common mistakes that are made when making muesli. And these are, for example, I see some people just taking the apple, saying, well, it's totally fine, they put it in here, but more advanced muesli makers will notice that in the end this leads to a blocking of the digestive system. So let me, well, not block myself, but show the principle of this mistake, where we go wrong. Then in the future that somebody who's just getting into muesli making cannot foresee or will not foresee. So when you put the apple in here, well, after you made all the other muesli, you will notice it gets stuck in your mouth. You cannot eat it. So this is one mistake. Another mistake is people do not wash the apple. And here we got a banana. Some people will try to make muesli like they squeeze the banana and get the juice out of here. It's not the point, it's not a bottle. Yeah. After cleansing the apple, it's important to arrange the fruit in a way that it looks human. We will now get into discourse with the food by taking a knife and cutting it into pieces. Questions I hear many times are like, well, I've cut a bit of the apple, isn't this enough? No, it isn't. You need to cut the apple. Once you cut the apple, you can take it, put it into the pot. And you cut the apple again. The other part of the apple. As you may notice, This is exactly the same procedure as cutting the first half of the apple, except that this half is mirrored. And you have to put it in the other pot. When cutting the orange, I also see people doing many crazy things. Like, you'll usually open the orange like that. So that you can peel it in one piece. Yeah. So once you've cut the orange, pull on. Yeah. This part can be put somewhere where it smells good. For example, the bin. Now when you look at the orange, you may notice that there's one hole in the orange. Something that looks like a hole. This is exactly where we need to stick our fingers in to open the orange. Like a blooming flower. Yeah, that's crazy. So, perfect for you. And again, I see people saying, well, I already cut the apple. Do I really need to cut the orange? Isn't it enough if I just, like, put it on top? No, it is not. The orange needs to be cut as well. The difference in cutting the orange and the apple is that the two parts of the apple are mirrored images of each other that get cut. But with the orange, it's vice versa. The part you cut first is not exactly a mirrored image of the orange. It doesn't need to be. You can cut it as you like, as long as the pieces fit into the mouth. Well, if you're not quite sure, then just try. And yeah, I can chew it, so I didn't do anything wrong with the orange. And that's also the crazy part. Yeah. Now we get to the banana. Notice how I open it. Here, let's see. Well, I don't want to show an undressed banana on screen, so I just cut off the offensive part, and here it is. Notice the noise that it makes when I cut it. It's really important to cut straight lines, otherwise the electricity in the banana will get screwed up and come out as lightning, which may blind you and others sitting around you. So, be aware that there are certain dangers involved with bananas. Also here we can take one half. Easiest is to take the first half, put it in the first bottle. Yeah. And the second half is over here. to put in the second pot. I also, like other Muesli Masters, they just put the first half into the second pot and the second half into the first pot. But yeah, I studied many Muesli making rituals, and this is one where they cannot agree on. Where you will see differences, land up, land down. Then you need to see that we need to get some nuts. And they are much too big. We cannot put them like this into the muesli. So I will perform a sacred ritual which turns this green, telling me that these nuts are all in smaller pieces. Notice how I slide twice in this direction and once perpendicular to it. After 1 minute, still nothing is happening. After 5 minutes, you may notice how the shape and everything of this plastic has changed. We may now open the plastic and see which pieces come out. You notice these are smaller pieces. We can take some of them and throw them on top of the muesli. Don't forget to close them. That's important too. Now to show an intermediate result, have a look at these already tasting looking pots of muesli inside. Another important ingredient is this. It's not the plastic. Like always, beginners may to confuse the food with the plastic it's packed in. No, you don't eat the plastic. You take the food out of the plastic. Let me demonstrate this. So, as it is with this, these days, as you may notice, you want to cover the fruit with the unhealthy stuff, like this brown chocolate stuff. So, not so advanced muesli makers in your family or in your neighborhood, do not get offended by your unusual technique of using fruit as an ingredient of your muesli. So, this is what you get. I'll show later how to eat the muesli. So, as I put this video on YouTube, it got a wide audience, and some people made a mistake. They ate this. As you may notice, it's the peeling of the orange. When you eat the peeling of the orange. First of all, I want to apologize. In my environment, we usually do not eat it, but people on YouTube from other countries, they eat it, and I'll tell you what happened. So, exactly like an anatomy, you will notice that this is the head. So as you may notice, this is the head of the not knowing creature. Over here we've got the body, we've got the legs and the arms. And yeah, exactly where the shoulders cross, there you've got the stomach. You may know it from acupuncture. So where the shoulders cross, you've got the stomach. And what happens to people that eat this is that a tree grows inside of them. And first, like when it reaches the boundary of the stomach, you will feel it as a tickling, but later on, you'll within 1 year you feel a slight sickness for a few days. This is when the tree gets out of the stomach and tries to reach the sun. After 1 year, the leaves will come out of your mouth. Yeah. And then you will die because they stick in the nose holes and you have nowhere to breathe. So, don't eat this. Or if you eat it, if you really must eat it, only eat the green thing here. If you must try it. So, I hope that corrects the few people that died and will, yeah, like, we get a better future out of this. Okay, now is the question what to do with this thing. Right below the ritual of cleansing, usually we got the box of unconscious. This is the box where you put things inside, like the peeling of the orange, that shall disappear out of your conscious. You will put them inside and you notice you don't see them anymore. And furthermore, what I can tell you, but what you will not notice is you do not think about it anymore. It has disappeared from your life. This is a tragic fate for the orange peeling, but it's the only thing we can do to prevent people from eating and dying.